Welcome to Rica Subtest 1 online test preparation course presented by ricatest.com. Without fluency, a student's comprehension will be negatively affected. This relationship is explained by the automaticity theory, which states that a reader who has achieved automaticity can decode the words being read as well as understand the meaning of the words that were just read. However, students who struggle to decode words read slowly, and this leads to issues with focus and getting distracted. And this leads to losing track of the text and negatively affecting reading comprehension. On the flip side, when readers achieve fluency, they are able to stay on track, to focus on the meaning of the words, and therefore comprehend that which they're reading. Furthermore, remember that the more fluency key indicators that are activated and that are achieved, the higher the potential for reaching reading automaticity there is. There are, however, factors that work to disrupt fluency. So let's talk about these now. Weak word analysis skills, stopping frequently to decode unrecognized or unfamiliar words, lack of familiarity with content vocabulary, lack of background knowledge, lack of familiarity with other complex syntactic structures will all disrupt fluency. Let's go over the first right now. Weak word analysis skills. This is the most common reading problem for students who are struggling to decode words. The major issue that persists with students who have weak word analysis skills is that they continue to encounter unfamiliar words. This slows their reading rate, which causes their reading comprehension level to sink. The next factor that disrupts reading fluency is having a lack of familiarity with the content vocabulary being taught. Informational books, such as the ones found in social studies and science textbooks, become more heavily used as students enter upper grades. In order for students to comprehend these informational texts, they will need to have the skills that allow them to decode more challenging vocabulary, which are often found in these textbooks. Let's look at two types of content words where students find difficulty. First, there are one-use words. These are words that we really only use for a specific purpose. A word like aorta, for example. Second, we have multisyllabic content words. These are used for a variety of contexts and subjects. Example words might include cycle or phase. The next factor that disrupts fluency is having a lack of background knowledge around the topic that the student is reading about. Let's learn using an example. Now, I'm not an expert in physics. I only have a very fundamental understanding about the subject, so even if I opened a physics textbook and used my structural and my syllabic analysis skills to swiftly and accurately read through the text, my lack of background knowledge about physics would really stop or definitely hinder my comprehension of what I was reading. And this is exactly what can happen to young learners who lack the background knowledge about the topics they might be reading about in, for example, social studies or science too. As students move into upper elementary grades, the structure of passages in both their fictional as well as nonfiction texts increasingly become more complex. Students are faced with structures that include higher leveled dependent and independent clauses, which oftentimes includes new academic language inside these passages. This complex syntactic structure will also disrupt a student's reading fluency. Feeling nervous about taking your Rica test? Click the link in the description below, get full access to this Rica test prep course, and start feeling prepared for test day.